Hello everyone, Don here with the next update on my Corsair progress report. This is Sunday, Easter Sunday, the 20th. I've been out here for, yesterday, most of the day yesterday and most of the day today, working on the new engine mount. Last week, Monday, Tuesday, I was out here, did a little bit of work, but not enough to warrant doing a video on. So I got the mount welded, completely welded, as you can see here, where they attached to the firewall. It's not finished yet because I need to make some steel straps that will come over this, wrap around here, and you got to weld it around the edges or all the way around here and around. They just be like little fingers, but you got to take a piece of cardboard, wrap around there and trace it out. But it's just going to go up around here, around this center section and back down the leg, and you weld it around. And that's only, this is 035, and that's all they call for this little reinforcement strap, 35 thousandths. So you get one on top and bottom, all 4 points. And then for these diagonals, you got to make a wedge, a triangle shaped wedge to come into here like this, just like that. So I got to put a wedge in here to this center post. I think there's only one there, one here, on all 4 legs that come down from the firewall. You put one there, this leg, one here, right in the center line of the tube and center line of this tube. And then the same thing on the bottom. We one across here, one across here, and then a reinforcement just like this, here and here, just on top, and one here, one here. So one there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 8 total. And then 7 and 8 for counting those ones there. So again, they'll be coming off of here is one, off of here. No, that doesn't get one. That gets a wrap around just the same as this. So just where here, you get one in here, one here, one here, one here, and then the 2 across there. So as you can see, I got the motor mounts. There's a 1/2 inch bushing, same size as this, inside of here, just about an 1/8 inch, 16th to 1/8 inch shorter than these are. So when you tighten it down, you compress the bushing, and then everything bottoms out. It'll bottom out that tube on this washer and this washer. That's all tight. So that's how those go. And then this center point is going to be right here on this plywood. Those bushings, as you always see, went in front to rear. So that's how the motor is going to be mounted. See how this is designed to swivel out just like the original. So these are the 2 top mounts for there and there. I need to get 3/8 plate of aluminum to machine this out, and these are designed for that. And then I kept mentioning about making these doublers. Well, here's a set of blueprints from Javelin Aircraft, Dave Blanton's. He did a cog belt reduction drive unit. I don't know if they got any pictures of these, but these are the plans I bought years ago at Oshkosh. Yeah, here's a V6, Ford V6 engine with the gearbox, and he made it in several different ratios for gear ratios. But this is the little gizmo I keep talking about. This little block right here. It's a 1/2 inch thick. That's what I'm going to use this for. Except for, and then he puts, this is how it goes, like this plate here, which is this big plate. That plate represents that piece of plywood. So what he does is he cuts 2 of them out, and he drills and bolts them through the plate. That's all that holds it. And then that bolt, that center bolt, and then these bushings fit right into these. You can see the little cutout, the little design there of where the rubber bushings go in front and rear. Because these aren't. This is obviously not the scale. But I got to make 8 of these. But instead of making them this way, I'm just going to make them 2 inches in diameter, 1/2 inch thick, like big thick washers, and it'll be bored out to what is it? Somewhere around 1 inch hole, because the rubber bushing's got to fit into these rubber bushings. Then I can put them in the lathe and counterbore them because they got to be tapered. Tapered and just a little bit of a straight shoulder there. Mine's going to be 3/8 where this calls for 1/2 inch. So mine's going to be just a hair smaller, so the rubber will stick out just a little farther. But there is a very slight recess in there that I have to machine a little flat spot and then cut the tapers for each side. And then what I'm going to do, instead of using bolts, because originally I was going to bring those into here, bolt them like into here, into there, all depending on how this fit. But it'd be easiest to just make them in a circle washer. And then what I'll do is I'll drill a hole with the CNC when I make this, like a 3/16, probably only 3/16 hole. I'll drill through there and there on center, from the center of this. And then once I drill that out, I'll make a bushing to hold the aluminum piece in there. And then I will come in, put one on the back side, and I'll come in with a drill and I'll drill that into that 1/2 inch washer, about 1/4 inch, all 1/4 inch away. So it'll be 3/8 plus an 1/8, 4/8, 5/8. So it'll be 5/8 inch long pins, one in the going through this. It'll pass right through the center and stick out 1/4 inch on each side. And then washers will go in there and they'll lock. Because once you put this all together, bolt it together, they're not going to move. But by putting the pins in there, that'll keep them from moving around or trying to rotate. They won't rotate, but they may want to try and move around. So 2 steel roll pins, about 3/16 of an inch, and it'll go right into these washers. So that's my idea. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to get my cherry picker in here somehow, pull this engine off, and then I'm going to I got to find some steel to make all these pieces. And then there's one more piece that has to be done. This hoop right here. There's going to be a hoop from here. Sorry, right from there to here. But I don't know how high to make the hoop until it's attached to here. I can probably get a guesstimate from here. But the idea is it's going to be hooped over just like it is now. And it's going to end up right about here where this seam is. So it's going to be back, this alternator will be like underneath the hoop. And the hoop's not going to be as wide as this one because this point from here to here is not as wide. So it'll just be a round hoop on here. And that'll, as you can see, this is got some flex to it this way. But as far as twisting that, this thing's not going anywhere. Once you get the little gussets welded into these points, 4 there, and it's 2 down here. And then get these fingers. The fingers are just more of a, in case this cracks, that gives a little extra material around to help hold that all into place. But let me tell you, some of this welding was a royal pain. Getting down into these corners, these ones weren't too bad, but trying to weld all the way around these things in those tight corners made for a very interesting time. So I've been out here probably for 4 hours just finishing up the welding on this. I had it all tacked up together yesterday, took it out of the jig, made sure it fit, and it fits perfect. It absolutely fits perfect. But I got to get the motor off and make sure it's going to fit over there. But my jig, after I tack welded, did some welding, I put it back in the jig, and it still lined up perfect. Just from welding on this, you get a little bit of penetration on the inside of the tube, so you got to run drill bits through there to clean out the little bit of weld where it gets good penetration. So those are all good to go. I think that's about it. That was enough. So I got to make 8 of these, 2 pads for each. 2 for each one of these, 4, 6, 8. And then I'll have to order up some roll pins. So the roll pins are going to pass through like these bolts, but they're only going to go in halfway into this, so 1/4 inch, they'll stick out 1/4 inch, just enough to keep them from turning or moving around. So I can't remember what I even paid for these things, but the V6 is too big, it won't fit in this plane. But he does make one for a 4-cylinder. I don't know if it's in, yeah, here's the, that's the V6. But one of these drawings, he does show a 4-cylinder. But that might work good for like the Mustang, P51 Mustang, or anything with a narrow, even the sprockets on these things, he shows you how to give all the dimensions to make those. This is a beam mount. or it'd be like a Mustang, it has a beam coming out here instead of this. It's similar to this. This is kind of like a beam mount. I don't know if it's in this drawing or if it's in some of the other. This is just the actual drawings, prints for making it. I think it's probably on some of the other little flyer papers that came with this, but just wanted to, people probably wondering what I keep talking about, making up these bushings, and that's them there. So anyway, I think that's going to about do it. Don't think I've done anything else other than that. Oh, and then the bottom thing. Again, this will be that 3/4 inch aluminum plate. It's going to have 2 ears. I cut this one off just to make sure it fit, and it was hitting, but I'll have to machine it halfway down through, like 1/4 inch in, for it to clear apart on there. But the idea is there's going to be a piece of aluminum angle. This is only 3 inch by 1/4 inch thick. I need 3/8 inch thick. That'll kind of go on there, but it's just going to be short little dog legs sticking up, and then the other washers, those 1/2 inch washers, will be right here for the lower mount. And then once that lower mounts, once these are made, this is cut out and put on, then I will transfer those holes, these bottom holes, into that. I won't cut it out. I'll cut them to the width and everything, bolt them onto the plate. That'll be bolted down here, and they'll be, like I said, again, they're going to be one here, one over here. So these things are going to be up to 5 inches long, and then once I find out, match it up with this, then I'll cut it to length and put the 1/2 inch washers on it. So that's it. It turned out really good. I don't have any more tubing. I mean, I used everything but less than 1 inch of that 5/8 tube, so it was, you couldn't make a mistake. So I just need to make a hoop from here to here, which I do have some 5/8, I believe, up here, but it's a thicker wall. Yeah, I got some 5/8 there. It's a little thicker. That's steel or aluminum. No, that's steel. But I think that might have been like 0.49, but it'll work to make the hoop. I don't have any. I'm pretty sure I don't have any 1/2 inch up here, because even on the print for the war print, it shows just a 1/2 inch hoop like it did here. I'm not going to cut that off. I'm just going to leave that alone. I'll save it in case I ever had for some reason to go back to this style or setup. So, all right, well, I guess that's going to do her. The wife's got dinner started. It's already going on 6:30, I believe. Yeah, just after 6:30. So. Next thing I need to do is, once I finish up the mount, get this thing drilled out here, get those pedals thrown back in and hooked back up, get the new cables made to go to the tail wheel and get them all run. Like I said, the canopy's done. I just need to give it a final buff. Oh, I did get some railing. I've got some drawer slide rails. And these ones have that little J hook on this. And they work with these. I already cut them off, cut the roller off the end. But essentially, that's going to get attached right there, front to rear. And then a new piece will be made from here to hold this roller. And then that roller comes in here. It's actually meant. I'm trying to think how this thing goes in there. This may not even go into this track, but the idea is I'm going to cut this thing down and just save this wheel, and then that wheel rides into this. Just got the wrong one. Here's another set of them. And this one. The one side is, this is the other. Yeah, this is the other side, but there's no J hook on this one. And that one's going to go on this side. But with the rollers, these things are all steel too, so they're not the lightest. They can't come out. They'll roll. They'll be supported as far as going up and down. They won't come out of the track. And then This thing is kind of spring loaded out, so once it's bolted in there, it kind of spring loads out into these tracks. This one doesn't get used, and this one don't get used. Just these two that I've already pre-cut. And these actually have a little hook on the end, a little dovetail. It drops down. Sorry about this stuff around, but these got a slight bend in them, so when the drawer goes in, the back of the drawer dips a little. So that little dip goes in the back. They both dip. So there's a left and a right, so you can see it's not straight back there on that back edge. If I can line it up, see how it drops down just a little bit. It's not going to hurt anything because the Canopy's got plenty of room right here to dip in the back. It's not a problem, but it will definitely roll a lot nicer inside these tracks with these little plastic bearings. But I got a set of them, and it's weird that they're not the same. One side has the J on the cabinet side, and the other side has the J on the drawer. So they're not a mirror image, they're a reverse image. So this one on this side, the J is on the bottom, but I can't use this one because it puts not straight. This one would have to, so much trash here, it has to set on top like that, which that would still work, but it doesn't have a top to hold the wheel in, so I can't use that. I have to use this straight one. But it'll work regardless. It's no big deal. Just got to drill some holes, some wood screws, because there is a piece of wood in there. It'll just screw into the side. And like I said, these Canopy is spring loaded out. When it's hooked up, you can actually pull it in a little bit. So that'll keep it pushed in tight against here to where the wheel will want to basically ride on the inside, which there is a little hump in there for the wheel to rub against on its side. And then it can't come out of there. That's how it goes in there like that. So pushing down or pulling up, it's not going to come out of there. And then it rubs against the inside and should be fine. Nice simple job. The back's just going to stay the way it is. Alright, I think that's going to do her for now. Like I said, I haven't bothered polishing it yet. The old Canopy trim is not going to work, at least the front's not going to work. I haven't tried the back yet, but I don't think it's going to work either. I'll have to make some more. I might have enough aluminum. Yeah, I got some 035 up there. That sheet in the back, if it's big enough. Because it doesn't have to be very thick. But that's where I was going. So, and then that's going to give me quite a bit of clearance back here. So now the oil tank, you can figure the oil tank can be clear up in here. A lot bigger than I anticipated needing. Wherever it goes, it can't hit this. But it can go down. I may only be able to go to 3.5 inches instead of 4 inches on the thickness to clear this. But we'll see when I get this off tomorrow and get that swung around, make sure these two are going to be lined up. They don't got to tweak them, but they went back into the jig just fine. And since this side lined up good, when I put this in, when I go to weld that, I'll put the hoop on there and tack it while it's on the firewall, so it'll be good to go. I think that's about it, and then I will paint that. I have Insignia white left, so it's a much whiter white than the belly. This is the belly. It's got kind of a cream color almost to it, a pale. You can kind of tell, see the difference in there. It's a little whiter. The idea with painting it white is that when something cracks, if you get a crack in a weld or somewhere a piece of tube cracks, it chafes and it'll leave a black line, and it's easier to see cracks. So you can tell none of this had ever cracked from all the running I've done on this. This thing's probably got 20 hours of run time on it, and if anything cracks, it's easier to see. That's all. You don't want to paint it black because you can't see the cracks. When the steel chafes, it leaves a black smudges. So, all right, well, that's going to do her. Supposed to be 70s tomorrow, so it'll be a good day, but I think they're calling for rain. But I'm just going to get that motor pulled, get that firewall mount checked, make sure it's going to fit good, and then find me some steel and make all the little triangle gussets, you know, like, but they're only, you know, the things are only that big. They're just small. So, all right. As always, I appreciate everyone taking the time to watch my videos. Feel free to leave any comments, questions, concerns. One had commenter ask, you know, if I need to re-inspect it. It was like, it's going to be due for its condition inspection in June anyway. So once I put it all done, it's pretty much inspected, you know. But I'll go through everything again. It's going to be a little while. I got to finish the intake and that, but the inspection will be done before the plane goes back to the airport. It'll be legal to fly. They'll put in all the logbook entries for all this work and rework and upgrades and such. So, all right, I'm going to cut her off there, friends and folks, and I will, if I get anything else done before Tuesday night, I'll post another video. I should at least have the mount done. I just got to go buy a piece of aluminum if I got any funds left and get that mount made there for the first one, and then the other one I can get the program wrote to try and start cutting out that big plate for the bottom of the motor that will give me the location for the bottom for these two. So, okay, that's it now. I'm going to head home and head to the house, get some dinner, and maybe I'll see you again Tuesday. If not, it'll be again next weekend. So for now, this is Down and Don out, and thanks for watching.